66-49, the final score inside the Bryce Jordan Center on Tuesday evening here in State College, Pennsylvania. Welcome into Postgame Live. I'm your host, Mitch Gerber. Coming up on tonight's show, we'll recap this matchup between Penn State and Rutgers, but for now, we're going to turn it over to the press conference where John Hara and Sam Sessoms address the local media.
I just listened to Coach Hughes. He's going to call out the play, and we just got to execute it, believe in the practice and work we put in. So at times me and Pick look at ease out there, but we're just following what we do in practice every day.
Can you guys talk about your defensive effort and how much of a focal point was that? Because it looked like the coaching staff was very adamant, get your hands out, that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think Seth Lundy did a heck of a job. We emphasized Ron Harper and all the big games that they've won. Ron Harper goes off for 25 plus, so Seth Lundy was all over him. And again, Jalen Piggott had Sam was on, but Gio Baker, those two guys make that team go. We want other people to make plays, and I don't know. I think our defense is turning to one of our best sides of the court. We obviously have talent on the offensive end, but we want to guard. We want to know what's happening. Our scouts, I think they're next level. We know the play coming. I try to call it out for everyone. We know it's going to happen. I'm really happy with our defense.
John, Greg out-rebounded you tonight, had his first double-digit rebound performance. What's he been like since coming back from injury? What does that say about him?
Thank you for that statistical reference right there. He told me when I was on the bench already. But, G. Lee's a big body. We went huge to start the game. We just and I think that's what is also helping our defense. We're so long, we're in our gaps, we're showing everything. And then G. Lee, I think when you guys first asked me, what's G. Lee? What is he about? And I was telling you, he's a dog. G. Lee's a dog. He'll go in there, he'll throw his body around, he'll go get you 12 rebounds every game. That's the type of dude he is. And then we got to see him post up some smaller dudes, make some plays. So I'm sticking with my G. Lee's a dog, D-A-W-G.
Sam, how important is the chemistry between you and screeners when you guys run so much pick and roll with you as the ball handler?
It's very important, because me going a step early could lead to John, Greg, and Lonnie drawing fouls, and them being a step lower might lead to my defender not being touched. So we actually did a lot of work on ball screen synergy. So we did a lot of drills, just being patient and coming off the screen, making sure John makes contact, making sure I'm driving my defender off of John's shoulder. We did that all week, so the connection is it has to be on point, and tonight it was.
Sam, I think the game Saturday was the fewest minutes that you'd ever played in a game in your career, and to come back and have this kind of outing. Was there, when you came onto the court, did you have more of a sense of urgency? Overall, how'd you feel about bouncing back from Saturday?
I just knew I had to step it up. The game versus Purdue, I wasn't on the bench angry, because I knew I wasn't giving my best effort. I was just supporting my teammates from the bench, but I knew next game I had to come out there, play as hard as I can, and that's what I did. And it was good results, So my mentality was just play harder in the last game and see what happens.
We got a chance to see Giovanni. Can you tell us, both you guys, what you thought of him getting out there for the first time, and how did he handle himself?
Giovanni Scott doesn't play tonight if he doesn't go compete in practice. He's been competing in practice. He's been all over the glass in practice. He's been giving me trouble in practice. So that's why he got out there, and that's why I think, he did what he's supposed to do. He has so much upside, and I think Penn State basketball fans are really going to like Giovanni Scott in the years to come.
Yeah, I was just happy to see Giovanni out there tonight. He's been here with us for a long stretch. He wasn't even able to practice. Then he was able to watch the games, not be out there with us. And I knew it was taking a mental toll on him. It's tough, to be away from home, to be going through school, and not being able to do the thing we love, which is basketball. To a lot of basketball players, that's what's keep us even, and I knew he was going through it. So just to see him out there, I was just happy for him. I was just super happy for him.
Sam, you mentioned that you didn't feel like you were giving your best effort against Purdue and you wanted to bounce back tonight. What are the days in between the game against Purdue and today like for you then, knowing that you didn't do your best that day and you have another game coming?
Honestly, like mentally, it's just horrible, because I know my coaches expect a lot from me. I know my teammates expect a lot from me. So me knowing that I didn't give my best effort, which is the thing you can control, it just eats me up into the next opportunity. Because I feel like I'm letting my teammates down in a selfish way, because there's nothing I can't do. It's all inner. So the days was just, it just making me overthink things. So I was just itching to get the next opportunity, which was tonight. Hopefully I made them feel better.
Thank you.
That's John Hara and Sam Sessoms, who eclipsed the 1,500 career points mark tonight inside the Bryce Jordan Center. Let's take a look back at how this one happened as we wait to hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury, who will address the local media coming up here momentarily.
I don't know if he has a voice, so I'm going to put it super close to him. It's 50-50.
Oh, we lost audio, but we're back. Welcome back into the post-game live show here inside the Bryce Jordan Center as we continue to recap this contest between Penn State and Rutgers. We'll hear from head coach Micah Shrewsbury coming up here in a few moments. We saw some of those highlights, or you guys saw some of those highlights before we were kicked off the network. Appreciate you hanging with us there for a couple of moments. We'll take a look at those highlights once again here one more time coming up here on the post-game live show. Head coach Micah Shrewsbury will be addressing the local media sooner rather than later. We did just hear from John Hara and Sam Sessoms. Sam Sessoms eclipsed the 1,500 career point mark tonight inside the Bryce Jordan Center. All right, looks like head coach Micah Shrewsbury is ready for his press conference. Let's toss it over to the head coach.
First of all, I appreciate the students that came out to, for the fun game. It's awesome to see how much support that they give. for what they do. And I talked to one of the directors before the game and just asked, like, what can I do more to help you? Or as it gets closer, how can I help you? And, I want to do everything possible. Because that looked awesome tonight. And I got a chance to meet a couple of the kids that came before the game and say hi to them. And, I hope they had a great time tonight. Like, that was a goal of our team is when people come, like I said, every single time people come to watch us play, they leave and say that was money well spent. And I'd love to do that again. And it's easy to do with this team. It's easy to do with this team. They earned a well-deserved day off tomorrow for what we just went through, right? 22 days from game to game, and then to come back and play 4 in, like, I don't know, 10 days, something like that, like 9 days, 4 games in 9 days. That's tough. That is tough. We've been going 2-a-days. We've been going game, day between game, like film, and then right back into practice. And they were as locked in as shoot around today defensively as I've seen them. And I knew when I left there that we were going to be ready to guard. We were going to be ready to defend. Like, it's a different story though, right? They still got to do it. Ron Harper still makes threes. Geo Baker's still tough as can be, and they have a good team. They came in hot, but the look I saw at 3 o'clock today told me we were going to have a pretty good day.
Mike, you had assistant coaches and GAs and everybody spreading their arms out. What was the message there? Because I don't think we've seen that in every game, and and how important, could you just build on that a little bit, to play with that sort of defensive intensity against guys who have played that much Big Ten basketball?
You know what, for us, remember when I talked about we went back and evaluated our team during those days off. One area where we were lacking was our shot volume. Like, I've said it before, we were last in high major basketball in shot volume. And that was because, 1, we turned the ball over too much. 2, since game 3, our offensive rebounding had taken a dip. So we weren't getting as many offensive rebounds back. On the flip side of that, we've done a great job on the defensive boards, right? Like, withstanding tonight. Like, Cliff's tough, so good on the glass, but they got 11 offensive. But we've done a good job of keeping people off the glass. But how we play defense, we don't turn people over, right? We're safe. We're going to be solid. We're going to be in position every single time. But there's a difference between being in position and standing with your arms to your side, or being in position and standing there like you're covering ground. And I showed them clips or 2 video kind of screenshots of our Celtics teams playing the Milwaukee Bucks in the playoffs 2 years in a row. And the first one, Eric Bledsoe's bringing the ball down the court, and there's 5 guys all standing like this. Like, Jason Tatum's in the opposite corner, 50 feet from the ball, and he's standing there like that. There's people on the bench standing there like that. And, our guys have really bought into it. And as you see, our numbers, like, we're still not turning the ball over. I think it was maybe the Northwestern game. I looked and I was like, they had 6 turnovers. I was like, it felt like 50, right? Because sometimes they drive by you and we're getting our hands on the basketball and swiping it away from them. Like, it happened again tonight, right? We turned them over 15 times. Still being solid. We didn't change anything defensively. All we changed was this. Now I'm covering more ground. Now it looks like I'm covering more ground. Now it looks like I'm in 2 different places at once. And the more success you have at something, the more buy-in you get. And our guys have really taken a hold of that, and it's helped us defensively.
Mike, I don't know if you remember, but yesterday I asked you about Ron Harper Jr., and you said that you'd do a good job defending him if you held him to less points than he had shots, and you actually did that tonight. So how do you take this defensive success defending him into Sunday's game against E.J. Liddell and Ohio State?
Spencer, I do remember that, for one. Two, I'm not going to tell you how we're going to guard E.J. Liddell and Ohio State. We're going to stand there with long arms. I know that's going to be a part of our plan. Now, I just said this on the radio. Like at the start of the year, I don't know, whenever practice started, whenever the season started, there probably wasn't anybody in here that was waving the Seth Lundy all-defensive team flag, right? Seth Lundy has guarded the best player or one of the best players on every single team this year. And I told him tonight, and I told the guys on staff, when I take Seth out, when Ron Harper goes out of the game, Seth Lundy comes out of the game. I said, Seth, if I'm not paying attention and you see Ron Harper go in the game, get up and check yourself back in. You are guarding him the entire night. And I thought he did an excellent job. He is fighting. He's making it tough on people. His athleticism, his length, his attention to detail have all, that attention to detail has really improved. And, I might be hurting him on the offensive end because he's exerting so much effort on the defensive end, but he's making timely threes and he's really guarding people. He is really fighting. And kudos to him. Kudos to Jalen Pickett for guarding Geo Baker in the same way. Like, those two are as scary as possible. Obviously, I've been a part of it, and they beat us when I was at Purdue. I'll say maybe 3 straight times, twice my first year and once my second year. And those guys were a huge part of it every single time. So total team effort. But kudos to Seth, kudos to Jalen Pickett. Now we got to do it again. Right? We're going to take a day off, but I don't want to stop. I want to keep playing. I wish we could play tomorrow because I know our guys would be ready. They'd be ready to guard. They'd be ready to fight, and they're going to be ready to do what needs to be done to win on Sunday.
Micah, Sam mentioned that he didn't put his best effort forward on Saturday. What did you see from him over the last couple of days, and what did you say to him to make sure he was locked in for tonight?
I didn't really say anything to him. He knew, right? I didn't have to. Him playing 9 minutes was the message. Like, you need to be on board with what we're doing and playing as hard as possible, right? The video doesn't lie. So, like, what he did tonight, and I got on him, right? I got on him on Saturday, and that's hard to take. Like, it's hard to take when you're somebody that has been counted on. You're somebody that scored a lot, and now you play 9 minutes, right? There's 2 things you can do. You can go in the locker room and you can be a locker room lawyer. You can go to somebody else that didn't play and start talking like, hey, man, how come you didn't play? I didn't play either. Yeah, his coach is doing a terrible job. If we'd have played, we might have won. Or you can come back and fix it, right? You can take ownership. You can look inside, right? That says a lot about his character, who he is as a person, his resiliency to just bounce back and play. And he played with more force. He played with more pace. He was attacking the basket. And we're really hard to guard when he and Pickett are both playing like that at the same time.
You talk about Sam Sessoms, and obviously he comes in today, puts up a strong performance after Purdue. What does it say about him to do that in late-game situations?
I think we still need to be better late game. But he puts so much pressure on the defense because of the way he gets to the rim. Our numbers, if you look at our numbers, we've been good at scoring around the rim. Part of that is because he gets in there a lot and he makes those tough shots. But he also forces the defense to come and help. And he can drop it off for a lob. He can put it up on the glass and have a shot blocker go try and get it. Now John's free to get offensive rebounds, and whatnot. So we need him. Like, the pressure he puts on the defense, the spacing that our guys try and play with to give him room to drive the basketball, it helps our offense. When you can play with multiple ball handlers, multiple guys that can play off pick and rolls, the better your offense will be. And, tonight was a chance. We got to see both of them out there together, both of them kind of clicking at different times throughout the game, but both of them were going. Now you're worried about both of them.
Mike, we saw Giovanni Scott for the first time on the court. What were kind of your initial impressions of his debut, and how do you kind of see his role going forward from now?
I was happy for him, man. I was I always say stuff. Like, I spent 4 years with Coach Painter, so I always say stuff that, like, he says all the time. But I said it in the locker room. I was excited. I was like, Jelani, you got your name in the paper? Like, the old school paper, right? You flip the page back to B8 or B9, and it's got the names back there in the back. Penn State, Hare, 16, Dredd, 2, Scott, 2. Like, he got his name in the paper, man. I'm fired up for that kid. Like, what he's done to put himself in position to help us. And then I just told him to go in and play as hard as possible. Play as hard as possible. Don't mess up defensively. That's pretty tough to do, right? But don't mess up defensively. And give us everything you got. I knew he'd be tired, right? He's been itching to play. So the opportunity to play, right, when he comes and there's fans there, it's excitement. He's probably gassed, but he gave us a good spark in the first half. He played hard, and then he gave us a little spark in the second half and got a bucket. And, we'll get him knock those free throws in, too. He could have had 4. Could have said Scott 4 on page B9 tomorrow.
Micah, I guess in analysis, sometimes you hear people talk about winning games different ways. Is that something that you think about and view as important? And if so, why?
You know what? I like winning the game the same way, right? How we play shouldn't change from night to night, from opponent to opponent. Like, I was thrilled. We shot 38% in the first half and went into halftime up 8. Like, the ball doesn't need to go in for us to win and have success. And that's who we are. That's who we are. Our guys are buying into that. Our guys are if we defend like that each and every night, we're going to give ourselves a chance. We got to get better. We got to get better. We worked the other day on closing halves, starting halves better, right? We closed it 4-3 today, and we had 1 turnover, but we started the second half pretty poor. So that's something that we're going to get back to work at. But the way we defend, if you do that, you give yourself a chance. And I love it. I love it. If we could, there might not be anybody here to watch, but if we could win 4-2, I'd be thrilled. I'd be thrilled. Our defensive numbers would be awesome.
What are the challenges of kind of maintaining a 10-point-ish lead and not giving that away and building on it actually towards the close?
Yeah, that's that's when the pressure sets in of, like, do you keep attacking or do you, pull the reins back a little bit? Like, I want us to keep attacking. We got some stops and we were going in transition and, keep doing it. As long as we don't turn it over, I'm okay with it. And then at a certain point, we start to put the brakes up. They get the double stop signs, like, we're going to run some clock right here. But, like I said, it goes back to having 2 guys that can handle the basketball and run your offense. And now it kind of takes away what they do in terms of how they guard you late. Because if they trap one, you can throw it to the other and vice versa. So that's a challenge. For us to be able to hold that lead was great. And to play like that, it doesn't feel good. Like, you're just looking at the clock. I'm just looking at it the whole time, and the only thing in my mind is like Chris Berman. It's like tick, 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 tick. Like, I'm just like, come on, baby, let's get this thing moving. But I thought our guys did a great job of knowing when to attack and knowing when to slow down, run offense, run the clock a little bit.
Micah, you said that the guys kind of had a fire in their eye around 3 o'clock coming into this game. What did you see from them when you guys jumped out to that 18-6 start?
Same kind of thing. Like, the shots that they took to start the game were the shots that we want people to take, right? Like, I don't know, it's no secret. Like, we try and force you into long 2-pointers. And, we keep our shell intact defensively. We stay in front of the ball, and then we try and contest you when you shoot a long 2-pointer. And to start the game, they took a boatload of them, right? They just kept shooting them. And I was like, this is great, right? They make them, though. Geo Baker's one of the best in our league at making those. But over time, people don't make those shots. They don't. I've got data from the NBA all the way back into college. Like, people don't make those shots consistently, and they don't beat you. And they were taking the shots that we want them to take. So we felt pretty good about how we were guarding early in the game, which gave us some confidence. Thank you, guys.
Well, that's head coach Micah Shrewsbury addressing the local media following tonight's 66-49 victory in State College, Pennsylvania. Some great points right there from head coach Micah Shrewsbury, talking about the look that his program had at about 3 p.m. this afternoon. That look in their eyes with the fire is what they exactly came out with in tonight's game. First half, Jalen Pickett led the way with 11 first half points, 5 of 9 from the field, the team high 18 minutes in that first half. Micah Shrewsbury talking about, look, you only put up 27 points in the first half, held Rutgers to 19. He'll take that any day because that's the identity of this basketball team. Also talked about Sam Sessoms bouncing back. He didn't say anything to him after the Purdue game. He just came out with that look in his eyes. At 3 o'clock p.m., Sam Sessoms, a team high, 17 points tonight, has 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from 3, 6 assists. John Hara tacked on 16 points for Penn State, 6 of 8 from the field, 4 of 4 from the free throw line. How about that? John Hara just shooting 60% from the line so far this season, comes out, shoots 100%. Strong defensive performance from Penn State, holding Rutgers to just 49 points. This was a Rutgers team that put up over 90 points their last time out against Nebraska. So Penn State continuing to develop that identity as a defensive-first program. Sam Sessoms, 17 points. John Harris, 16 points. Jalen Pickett, Seth Lundy, John Hare, Sam Sessoms, all with double digits tonight in this contest as Penn State walks away with a 66-49 victory over Rutgers. Coach Shrewsbury talking about that slow start initially for Penn State out of the gate, but Penn State pushed right back, went on a run of their own, 14-2 run over 4 minutes and 30 seconds. Rutgers punched back, though, an 11-2 run over 6 minutes to cut Penn State's lead to 4. Ultimately, though, it was Penn State that came out with that performance to end this game on a 66-49 final score. Let's take a look at some of those stats one more time via stat broadcast. 66-49. Both teams not shooting well tonight. However, Penn State, that defensive identity, Coach Shrewsbury talked about, he can come out every time and rely on that. It could be a 4-2 ball game. Might not be any people in the stands, but hey, win's a win. Defensive identity for Penn State. Let's go back and take a look at the call of the game on the Big Ten Network.
Been several times tonight where Rutgers will close it to within 2 or 1 possession, and then Penn State pushes it right back out, and here we go again. A 6-0 spurt just like that.
A 6-0 spurt just like that as Penn State would walk away with that 66-49 victory. There's a live look inside the Bryce Jordan Center. Empty now. The crowd was in here just a few hours ago, filling up this one for Penn State and Rutgers. Penn State will be back in action against Ohio State on the road Sunday at 12 o'clock p.m. high noon on the Big Ten Network. And they'll be back here inside the Bryce Jordan Center as you get a live look right there on January the 19th against Minnesota at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. This was tonight's thong game. Great crowd on hand. Michael Shrewsbury talking about how cool it was to see some of those students in all the different colors in attendance tonight for this one. Sam Sessoms eclipsed the 1,500 career point mark as he tacked on 17 points tonight. A great bounce-back game for Sam Sessoms after his performance against Purdue. Had that look and fire in his eyes, came out, put up 17 on 7 of 10 from the field, 3 of 3 from deep, and 6 assists to go for the point guard. Sam Sessoms, 1,500 career points as a Penn State Nittany Lion in his career, rather. Doing here so tonight in the Bryce Jordan Center. Let's get some shout-outs on the screen right now as we conclude this edition of our post-game live coverage. Sam Sessum's going to go away right there. Carol, great game, she says. Appreciate you tuning into our post-game live stream. Brad Williams watching down in Temple, Texas. Hope the weather's a little bit warmer down in Texas. It was a high of about 16 degrees here in State College today. I know you're jealous of that. Absolutely fantastic, Deborah says. Deborah, appreciate you tuning in. Love this comment from Carol talking about John Hara and Sam Sessums at the post-game press conference. You two are absolutely incredible with outstanding attitudes and an amazing talent. So much fun to watch. Last but not least, Jay says, let's go Big John, when he was talking about his performance inside the press conference. That's going to do it for this edition of our post-game live show. We'll see you next time here in Happy Valley for Penn State and Minnesota, but Penn State going to be back in action this Sunday against Ohio State at noon Eastern on the Big Ten Network. Hope everybody has a fantastic evening. Early tip tonight here in State College, so you have a little bit of time to either go to bed early, watch your favorite show on Netflix, whatever it might be. Until then, we'll see ya.